So ultimately, Valve is a design studio that focuses on utilizing design process and methods to create solutions that support and enrich the cultural narrative of the Arab area, starting from the local community. So it's very grassroots. They have this card game called Shaddeh, and ultimately this depicts the social and the political structure in the Jordan area. It's a way to educate kids and anyone who is playing the game about the power roles within Jordan. So these are some of this is a breakdown of the original playing cards, and we can go into a little bit of a background with what each card typically represents, but everything is spread out between different positions that you have in society. So peasants in agriculture, ultimately it's a part of the history of the working class. These cards depict more of the religious aspect in Jordan's society. The military have a strong part in Jordan society as well, and have strong connections in most of the aspects of the political society. And then the higher circles of society are the last remaining segment within this background.
We're still a startup. We've only been working officially for a year. And this is one of our earliest projects that started from Siwar's graduation project in university. We were studying the effects of designing actual products for the actual people and with an understanding of the audience in mind. And while we were digging at how we can take something that's very familiar to the people and work with it to create an actual social impact through understanding of that audience, we stumbled upon cards because they're a huge part of the youth culture in Jordan. We have cafes dedicated to them. People go out to play in groups. Usually it's four people groups and stuff like that. And it's a very active part of what the youth does in Jordan. And it's very connected to unemployment because when youth are have a lot of free time on their hands, they spend most of it out doing these kinds of activities. So we were trying to find a way to connect this product to the actual problem of employment and social structures and how that affects the youth in Jordan in general. So we dug in the history of the cards and realized that they were actually multi-layered and had a lot of social and political background to them from the start that with time lost their meaning. And
they originally considered crowdfunding the product, but it's a challenge because the general public may not be comfortable with the concept of playing cards that address social and political standards in Jordan. So I guess the first line of question is how do we engage the general public to take up Valve cards rather than normal playing cards?
Plan right now.
Okay, so at the moment, what we had in mind was we go with something related to a kind of a pre-order kind of thing, where we work around to understand our numbers and the demand and make partnerships with the cafes and distribution points. And then according to that, we go with the first batch of production. And we want to keep the price between around 5 JDs, which is, I guess, something close to $7.7, $8. But the problem remains that because of the comic and the guide, which are extra to normal cards, the production cost can be a bit higher than normal cards. So if the youth are not already invested in buying these, the cost is not going to make much sense, the gap in cost. So that's one of the problems. The other one is I don't want this to become a specialty playing card deck where it's an artistic version or something that's more of a collector version. I want it to be something that's accessible to as many people as possible.
Okay, so then the idea that I was thinking, so the way a lot of early video games run is they'll do very limited servers with a very limited group of alpha users. who just kind of play for fun, and then they start doing tournaments where they fund a prize. So then the thought was just get like 1 or 2 decks printed on like crappy pieces of paper, go into a cafe and just start playing, try to get like 15 people going, and then host very small level tournaments and just see if it picks up.